Hello, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of That's My Personal Business. How are you? Happy July. We are in the third week, fourth week. I think there's 5 weeks in July, and I believe we're in the fourth. You would think that at some point I would learn how a calendar works before I hop on the podcast, but I haven't and I won't. And that's just the way it is. So I'm currently recording this on July 18th, and I'm feeling really fired up. We are coming into this podcast episode to talk about a subject that has been really near and dear, close to my heart. I wouldn't say near and dear, close to my heart over the last couple months, and something that I've been getting a lot of questions on in the DMs. And that is burnout, taking a break, what that looks like. Is it the death of your business? A literal DM I got asked that. And I have been in a period of burnout for the last, honestly, like several months. It has been several months of like weirdness in my business and my passion and my motivation. And I'm really excited to be coming back from that and to talk to you guys about it and to talk to you about how I resolved that, how I met it with curiosity, what that looks like. So we're going to have a nice, deep little chat today about burnout and all of the things. To play catch up really quickly, I have been loving Love Island. If you're on the internet at all, I'm sure you've heard tons about this season. I have never watched Love Island USA. I've always been a UK Australia girly, and the US just seemed so boring to me for some reason. So I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to watch it. And then I heard from people, I heard from friends, I heard from the internet that this season of Love Island USA is insane. And I started it. And if you are a reality TV person, please watch this season. Like, this is the most unhinged reality TV I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen contestants on this show behave this way. Like, they are off their rockers. I have never seen people yell at each other this much, do the most absurd, unhinged things. It has been so entertaining. I have it. You're going to like look up Love Island and see how many episodes there are and learn that they record every single day. So there's like 60 episodes a season. Let me go ahead and tell you now, perfect background show. When you're editing, answering emails, working on social media, it is the perfect show to go in the background and just like play, because you don't need to pay that close of attention to it. Like, if you do, actually, I feel like it's just brain rot. Like, if I pay too close of attention to it, I literally can feel my brain decomposing. But it is the best background show literally ever. So been loving that. That has been a perfect background show, noise, whatever, for me lately. Literally, I also just like, I need to discuss it with someone. I need to discuss it with you guys. So someone watch it and please DM me about it, because I'm very behind. I'm only on episode like 13, but I'm going to catch up. It is literally so insane this season. So been doing that. I'm getting started on packing this week, which is crazy. I'm hosting my house cooling tomorrow, which is the opposite of a housewarming. For those that don't know what a house cooling is, I've had some people be like, what the hell are you talking about? It's the opposite of a housewarming. So I am fully prepared to just like cry my eyeballs out tomorrow. I know that I'm going to be so sad. I'm feeling so nostalgic. It is so weird to be like sitting in this place of like abhorrent gratitude and excitement mixed with like so much sadness, like literal heartbreak. I've never had the two coexist in such a potent way before. And yeah, I'm just feeling really sad, but really excited, really happy. And it's going to be a huge shift. My mom is being so sweet and flying out from Utah to help me pack, which is a huge relief because I am so stressed out about it. So yeah, it's going to be a really busy, I literally leave in 10 days. So it's going to be an insane 10 days. I'm working on getting everything batched right now so that work can just kind of flow as seamlessly as possible while I'm moving. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a little insane. I like can't believe it's finally here. is wild. So that's been happening. We are opening up one-on-one coaching again for August. We haven't taken any clients for a second. And so we're opening up a couple VIP days and a couple one-on-one hourly mentoring sessions in August. So what's really fun is you can literally just book your own hourly mentoring whenever works for you. You'll move through an automated process that like gets you moved through to a calendar, get you signed and paid, get you booking your session, or you can fill out an application for VIP days. They are application based only. We can hop on a consultation call before if you would like, before you sign and pay anything, and just to kind of talk through what's going on in your business. I am such a firm believer that like high ticket coaching programs should help you before you even book, if that makes sense. Like nothing is schemier and weirder to me than like hiring a coach and they want like thousands of dollars and they don't tell you what they think you need help with in your business. So that's like one of the things I really love about consultation calls is that like we can talk through what we would want to even focus on the VIP day and kind of diagnose what's going on in your business and come up with a game plan of what we want to talk about. So fill out an application for that. If you've been thinking about it, we offer payment plans, the whole shebang. So there's no reason to put off making and reaching the business of your dreams if that's what you have been feeling called towards. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, I'm excited to get settled in Chicago, come up with some new courses, some new things, because it has been a minute since I have felt inspired to do so, which is why we're having today's podcast episode. Because as you guys know, this month, our theme is taking care of yourself in your business. And we are going to be talking about today burnout. It is something that I have really been struggling with over the last several months, and something that I've been getting a lot of DMs about this summer and having a lot of conversations about this summer with my coaching clients in Instagram DMs. It feels like we're all feeling a little burnt out. And it has been such a process to identify the burnout, to move through the burnout, to recover from the burnout, to nurture the burnout. Like it has been so challenging and so draining that I like knew that we had to talk about this in a more public format so that we can kind of normalize it and talk about like what it actually looks like to like take a break and step back from your business and what happens and how to know if that's right for you. And so let's talk about what burnout even is first so that you can like feel if it's coming up for you. So I went ahead and I Googled, I was like, we're going to find some like WebMD. We found the Mayo Clinic. Mayo Clinic has an article about job burnout and how to spot it and take action. So we're gonna read through these questions, and some of them may resonate with you, some of them may not, but I do think it's nice to just like have a set of questions that we can kind of like talk ourselves through in order to identify if we are facing this. So 1, are you feeling like you question the value of your work? Like, are you questioning what you're bringing to the table? Do you have to drag yourself to work and have trouble getting started? Do you feel removed from your work and the people that you work with? Have you lost patience with coworkers, customers, or clients? Do you lack the energy to do your job well? Is it hard to focus on your job? Do you feel little satisfaction from what you get done? Do you feel let down by your job? Do you doubt your skills and abilities? Hello, imposter syndrome. Are you using food, drugs, alcohol to feel better or to numb how you feel? Have your sleep habits changed? Do you have headaches, stomach or bowel problems, or other physical complaints with no known cause? Which that is a huge one. You guys know me. I am like so huge into making sure that like my body is not telling me something. Like I'm not ignoring what my body tells me. That was such a huge thing for me in my early 20s where my body was really trying to communicate with me when I wasn't doing well, or I was in a relationship I shouldn't be, or what have you, or I was overworked. And I really looked past that in my early 20s. And it's something I take very seriously now. Like if my body is being weird at all, I'm like, it's time to do some digging. So I want you to think about these questions. Did you resonate with one of them, some of them, none of them? If you resonated with none of them, you're probably doing okay. I'm not going to lie, because those are like such foundational identifiers of burnout or leading into burnout or starting to identify burnout or, a little sign that you're headed that direction. And one of the biggest things when I think burnout comes or you're starting to lean into or starting to take the path that leads to burnout is I feel like you immediately get really, really scared and really, really frustrated. Maybe both, maybe one or the other, but those are kind of like the two big emotions that really, really show up. So it's like I'm either really frustrated that I'm not feeling as creative, or I'm not showing up for my clients, or I'm not showing up on social media. I don't know how. There's no ideas. There's nothing I can do. Like that can feel really frustrating. And so can the fear of like, what if this never ends? What if it never stops? What if I never get my mojo back? What if I ruin my career by taking a step back, right? Like both of those things kind of start to come up, and they both have one thing in common, which is a victim mentality. And I think this is the first step to combating burnout, to working alongside burnout, is to not allow yourself to fall back into this victim mentality and instead to meet burnout, because burnout could be a lot of things. It could literally be burnout that you've overworked yourself. It could be boredom. It could be lack of alignment. Like there's a lot of different things that kind of fall under the umbrella of burnout. And instead of meeting it with this fear or this panic or this judgment and anger and frustration, meet it with curiosity, because like every other emotion and experience, it deserves to be felt. It deserves to be experienced, and it's here to teach you something. And so I think that's like one of the biggest things that I really want to stress today is like when you start to feel these feelings come up, how can you meet it with curiosity, right? This is something that I talk about a lot with my therapist, and is something that I have been working on a lot the last year, because there's been so many changes personally, relationship wise, financially, and my job. Like there's been so many changes. There's been a lot going on. I've really been kind of coming into myself, which has been really beautiful for learning new things about myself. And so now when things are kind of going out of alignment or not the way that I want them to, I take it as an opportunity to have some self discovery. And instead of meeting it with judgment or frustration or sadness, I'm like, okay, what is this trying to teach me about myself? Or what can this teach me about myself? So when it comes to burnout, it it's been this like ongoing process of being like, what is this trying to tell me? Have I stepped out of alignment in my business? Is the business that I built and was succeeding no longer the business that is in alignment for me, right? Like, is this no longer what I'm feeling called to and like what I need to do, right? Like I have been working as a full-time educator, consultant, coach for the last 4 years. It's crazy that it's gone that fast, but I started during the pandemic. That's like when I went full-time with education, because all weddings got rescheduled or canceled. And I am someone who really, really thrives with having my hands in a lot of different projects and a lot of different pots. And so I kind of had this opportunity to step back and be like, okay, I might need some more. Like we might have stepped out of alignment here. Like I'm putting all of my energy into one facet of my business. How can I maybe spread that out a little bit more? How can I take on more passion projects? How can I learn new skills? That's kind of how Amara was born, how we've brought in more projects with my agency Amara. I'm doing web design. I've started picking up photography again. I'm opening my books for weddings. I'm taking photography passion projects. Like, I've really, over the last several months, tried to take these feelings and let them just exist and be like, how can I make myself feel better today? Like, what would make me feel better in this moment? Because this moment is the only one that exists. Not how can I figure out my business for the next month? How can I figure out my business for the next quarter? How can I figure out my business for the next year? Like, how can I make myself feel good and make myself feel better today? Like, meeting it with that curiosity has been so life changing. But I also want to be upfront that, like, I that has resulted in me taking a step back from the business a little bit. Like, I haven't been as active on social media. I haven't been as active online. I haven't really been opening up my books for online coaching. Like, I kind of took a step back, and I got a DM from a client slash former client the other day that was like, is it the death of your business to take a break? And I thought that was such a fascinating way of phrasing it, because it was like, your death is permanent, death is eternal, death is non-recoverable. Like, that is not something we come back from. We don't come back from a death. And I truly believe that creativity and our businesses and our forms of expression can come back at anytime, once we're ready to accept it, once we're ready to work on it, once we're ready to nurture it. And so it's never, a break is never going to be a death in your business. It is, though, however, going to likely take a hit. Like, my business hasn't stopped making money. We've kept making money, but we've made a lot less this summer than we've made in a long time. And that's because I decided that prioritizing my creativity, my fulfillment, myself, my emotions was more important right now than scaling. Like, I was just to the point of like burnout and boredom and unalignment that I was like, you know what? My business is not going to scale, and it's not going to thrive, and I'm not going to feel better unless I take this break to just do what needs to be done in my business. Like, I've kept up my beautiful, amazing coaching clients who I like have loved and have felt so aligned with, but I just didn't have the capacity for more. Kept those up, kept up, we have our passive income that sells. We haven't really been pushing any passive income, so those sales did take a downturn. But I was like, you know what, we're just going to make enough money to like pay my team, to pay myself, and I'm going to spend my time realigning with what is most important to me in this life and in this business. And I genuinely don't think I would have come back from this burnout without that. And like, not to say I'm like perfectly back, I'm running on all cylinders, burnout's not even a whisper in my head anymore. Like, it's going to take a minute to like implement the things that I've learned about myself, to implement the things that I've learned about my business, to get back into the flow of things. And that's okay. Like, we have to normalize these ebbs and flows in our energy, in our creativity, in our business. Those things happen to everyone. And the sooner you come to terms with that, the sooner you can give yourself the grace to meet it with curiosity and to try to learn from it rather than fixing it, because that trying to fix it is just like grasping onto this element of control that like you ultimately don't really have. Like, life is so funny, right? Because we control so much, and yet we control so little. And I love the idea of, if you've read what is it? Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's one of my favorite books. I honestly need to reread it. And one of my favorite things about that book is that she talks about creativity almost being like this gift. Creativity is this thing that flows. And if we don't take advantage of an idea or creativity being gifted to us, it will go to a different host. Like, those ideas will go to a host that will birth it. And so it's our duty and it's our responsibility and it's our pleasure and joy and honor to trust the creativity that comes to us and to utilize it and to create things with it. And if it's not coming to you right now, that's probably because you're blocking it in some way. And it's okay to take that break and take a step back in order to figure out where those walls are and to start to break them down, right? Like, I realized that one of the biggest walls that I have right now is isolation. Like, I have been self-employed since I've been full-time since I was 20 years old. And I am lonely. Like it is lonely only having like, a couple coaching calls a week where I interact with someone, but even then it's over a screen and like I don't have coworkers and I just sit in my house and work. Like it's so lonely. And so that's why I've been so determined in my personal life to really prioritize community and to focus on that and to focus on connection, but to also brainstorm like, how can I make this happen in a bigger format? How can I start bringing coaching in a more community driven way? How can I start connecting with people in person more? How can I start connecting people with each other? Like, how can I foster that type of community and environment? And so that's been really beautiful to like learn about myself. If you have been here since the beginning of my photography career, I used to identify so much with being an introvert and like not getting to know people that well. And that's because I was in a horrible marriage and just a shell of a human being. But like, I used to identify with that so much. And I've shifted so much away from that into being like, I love connecting with people. I love getting to know other humans. I love learning what makes them tick, what fuels them, what they want to create with their artwork and their careers. And so, like, that's been so massive in counteracting my burnout, is identifying that like, okay, burnout is an umbrella term for, in my case, boredom, for isolation, for lack of connection and community. And like now I have tangible things, tangible problems that I can start to address, right? Like that was such a huge thing for me this winter, earlier this year, was hosting the artificial light flash photography workshops and being like, oh my God, this is so fun, so fulfilling to meet with people in person, to connect with them, to be able to help them with my hands and with my voice and hug them and squeeze them. Like that was so beautiful and life-giving. And it's been so informative to changing my burnout and shifting out of that and making sure that that's something that I continue to prioritize in both my business and my personal life. And so I want you to really dive deep into what you're calling burnout and meet it with that curiosity and start to identify what burnout really encapsulates. Like, what does it actually mean for you? Because burnout for you is going to be so different than it is for other people. It might be that you've overbooked yourself. It might be that you're not working with ideal clients. It might be that you aren't feeling artistically fulfilled. It might be that you're not connecting enough with other humans. It might be that you're connecting with other humans too much, right? Like, I have no idea what it is for you. And please feel free to hop in my DMs so that we can talk about it and talk about what burnout is looking like for you and how we can brainstorm to maybe counteract that. But like, there are so many ways that it can show up. It's going to be different for every single person. And that's where the beauty of self-discovery comes in, and the beauty of self-curiosity, and the beauty of finding out more about ourselves and the way that we can intertwine that with our business. Because what a beautiful opportunity that is. And that's what burnout is. It's basically your body, your mind, your creativity coming to you and being like, what we're doing is not working, so we need to figure something else out. And be excited about that rather than dreading it. Be excited about the countless possibilities, the new direction you could be taken in, the new things that you might be able to experience through yourself and through your business. Like, how exciting is that, that you might need to pivot and that you might not be doing the same thing forever? That is one of my favorite things about myself, is that like I love changing things and I love experiencing new things. It's one of the reasons why I move so much, is because I'm like, I've experienced the city, I've made a great community that I can now come back and visit. Like, let's find more, let's experience more, let's not have regrets, let's experience everything that we possibly can, because the world is limitless when it comes to the things that we can experience, and that is so, so beautiful. So I want you to think about your burnout and identify what it is. Identify if working more might be helpful, if working less might be helpful. There is no right answer, but like there's no right answer for everyone, but there is a right answer for you. And in your heart of hearts, you know what it is. I know you know what it is. You can feel it in your gut. You can feel it in your heart. You know what it is that you need to do in order to line back up with your business and your mission and your fate within yourself and your business. You just need to sit with it. treat it with curiosity, meet it with curiosity, with childlike wonder, and just play with it. Try new things, fail a little, see what works for you, see what doesn't, see what you can experiment with. It is such a beautiful process to climb your way out of burnout, because you have to incorporate an element of self-discovery and self-curiosity, and it's such a beautiful process that, like, I'm excited for you. I'm sad that you're in it now because I know it feels so hopeless, feels so exhausting, feels so all of the things. But like, it is such a beautiful thing to be gifted this opportunity for self discovery and to try something new. So, that is today's episode. I know I got a little fired up there, but if you are really struggling with burnout, also like set up a mentoring session. Let's do a deep dive on you and like what could help with that and what that could look like and how we can shape it exactly for you and identify maybe where you're coming from. Like an hour is perfect for that. Just one short session to like really crank through it. Or shoot me a DM, shoot me an email. Like, I want to talk to you about how you're feeling and identify how we can better it. And if you take anything from this podcast episode, let it be curiosity. Let it be that whatever's coming up, you don't label it, you don't judge it, you just meet it with curiosity and you see what is going to happen, because it is going to be incredibly beautiful. All right, you guys, I love you. I mean it. If you like this episode, please share it on your stories, leave us a review, share it with a friend. It means so much. Helps us get the word out about the podcast. We're coming up on 4-year anniversary of the podcast, which is absolutely insane. It has been an honor to spend the last 4 years with you and to have you here. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking around. I love you so much, and I will see you next time.